Welcome to Parnell Park for this clash of Kilmacud, Crokes and Castleknock in the go-ahead Dublin Senior Football Championship Group 2. There's another game going on in this group concurrently. St Vincent's taking on Ballantyre. We'll keep you in touch with that game while we watch this one. Earlier on here today in Group 1 of the Senior Football Championship, Ballyboden St Enda's, who are without Michael Dara Macaulay, beat Raheny and beat them well. Earlier on in the weekend, Nafina overcoming Whitehall Columkill 118 to 12 points in that group. In Group 3, Ballymun with the 2-point win over Thomas Davis. Clontarf losing out to Skerries by 4 points. In Group 4, St Jude's taking on Sarsfields. That one ended in a draw just a couple of minutes ago, 1-14 apiece. And St Oliver Plunkett Owenrua losing out to Round Towers Lusk 3-16 to 9 points. But of course Plunketts are missing their greatest ever forward, who's sitting beside me here, Alan Brogan. How are you?
I'm good, Oisin. Good to be with you this afternoon.
I'm hoping that Bernard heard me call you their greatest ever forward. And let you deal with the fallout of that later on. What about this game? What do you think will happen? How do you think it'll go?
Yeah, it's an interesting one, and probably if you're to look at the games, it's probably the pick of the round for me, to be honest. So it's great to be here, and I suppose it's a little bit of an apprehensive time for both sets of players. They've had a number of weeks with the clubs now, obviously after Dublin being beaten a few weeks ago. So you're always looking forward to that first game, and you just want to get out there, you want to get underway. But it's an interesting one. Castleknock, I suppose, a team who for a number of years set up quite defensively, so it'll be interesting to see. They're under new management now. It'll be interesting to see how they line up. They've a couple of guys. They've obviously Kieran Kilkenny, who we all know well, but they've a couple of guys with some big underage reputations. They've Luke Swan full forward. I think he's in his second year playing senior football now, so he's lining out with full forward. A real good target man, has a very good eye for goal. Lining out with centre back, they've Sennett Forker, who's a big reputation as well, has played minor and under 20 with Dublin over the last number of years. So it's going to be interesting to see how those guys in particular adapt to a big game today. Obviously Kilmacud, we know what to expect. They were champions a couple of years ago in the semi-final last year, so they've been thereabouts and are always thereabouts, to be fair to them. No huge names, bar Paul Mannion obviously, but it's no huge names on their starting 15, and Paul Mannion will obviously take watching. Castleknock are missing Owen O'Brien, who I think has gone away with the army. He would be their man marker, for want of a better word, so it'll be interesting to see who they detail to pick up Paul Mannion. I met him on the way in there, and God, he's a fine specimen of a man, forgive me. It looks like he's after growing even a couple of inches since I saw him last a couple of years ago, so I'm looking forward to seeing him playing today. Obviously a huge loss for Dublin over the last 12 months, so it'll be interesting to see what sort of nick he's in, and can he maintain the same standards, the same form that he had with Dublin over the last number of years. I saw Desi Farrell ambling in there, taking his position in the terrace here underneath us, so he's obviously here looking to maybe pick out one or two nuggets ahead of next year. And yeah, look, it's an interesting one, and look, on paper I suppose you've got to say Kilmacud come in as favourites. They played each other in the group stages championship last year, Kilmacud winning by 2, and what I remember was a tight close game. So the thing about Castleknock is they may not have the well recognised names that Kilmacud have, but they play football, of which I've been on the receiving end myself a few times. They play a very intense brand of football. They work very, very hard for each other, and I expect a close contest today.
Owen and Kieran Dennehy from Kerry in charge of Castleknock. Declan Hannigan and Finbar Brady very much part of the backroom team. Finbar Brady, who would have worked with Cavan in the past. Robbie Brennan in charge of Kilmacud Crokes, the only member of the management team as far as I can see that is still with them from the last couple of years. A couple of years ago, Crokes got to an AIB Leinster Club final, were beaten by Mullinochter for Castleknock. In recent years, they got to the Dublin Senior Football Championship final, which isn't a bad achievement considering how young a club they actually are, but they've had amazing success at underage level. They've had successful Féile teams. They're good in hurling, they're good in football, and that does count for a lot. They're a confident young club. Yeah,
they certainly are. I think they were maybe only 20 years in existence when they reached a county final, and I think if you're to be maybe overly critical, they probably haven't pushed on since reaching that county final. They've had a couple of years where they've only done okay. Coming off the back of league campaigns, Kilmacud have had a pretty good league campaign, winning 6 out of their 7 games. Obviously it's because of COVID and could be missing some guys. Whatever, Castleknock only won 2 games out of 7. So look, on paper, as I said, it looks like Kilmacud are probably the stronger outfit, but kind of knowing Castleknock, being from the area myself, I know some of the quality that Castleknock possess, and look, it'll be interesting looking at Kieran Kilkenny as well, seeing what kind of form could he produce coming off the back of a disappointing summer with Dublin, and I suppose in a way for Castleknock, he's probably had a chance maybe to get a few days away and he can come back refreshed and come back into the Castleknock setup and maybe give it his all for the first time. Well, give it the time anyway, and for the first time in a number of years, it can be difficult coming out of the inter-county championship. You might be carrying a knock or two and going straight into club championship. So he's had a little break. I'm sure he's had a bit of a holiday. So hopefully we see him in full flight here again today.
And he's also playing senior club hurling this year. Let's take a look at the teams as they have been named. There may be one or two changes here. Gavin Sheridan, a relatively new name between the sticks for Kilmacud Crokes, has actually played soccer to a high level as well for UCD, was part of the Irish team that played in the World Student Games. Tom Fox won an All-Ireland under-21 in 2017. Aidan Jones, normally a cornerback, he's very quick. He's in the half-forward line, and of course the name that jumps out is one you've already spoken about, Paul Mannion. Killian O'Shea was the co-captain of the All-Ireland under-21 winning team a couple of years ago, and he was in the Dublin squad this calendar year. Let's move on to Castleknock and have a look at their 1-15. As Alan Brogan has already talked about, Kieran Kilkenny is the go-to man, but there's so much talent spread around that squad, and a lot of them have represented Dublin at underage, so even though they mightn't have stellar names, there's just a nice depth to them, isn't there?
Yeah, there certainly is, and like some of the names jumping out there, Tom Quinn, a full-back, has played a couple of league games for Dublin. Ben Galvin, obviously son of Mick Galvin, current Dublin selectors, line out a wing forward, and he's like on his day when he gets a bit of space inside here in Parnell Park, he's a really nippy wing forward, can cause a lot of trouble. As I mentioned, Luke Swan and full forward, and don't forget Tommy McDaniel's in a corner forward from Westmeath. He's had a good couple of years with Castleknock as well, so it's going to be interesting to see him line out. Coming off the bench, Seamus O'Carroll, I was on the receiving end a couple of years ago. Seamus O'Carroll kicked 10 points against Plunketts in a club game, and has played some county football with Limerick, so he's a big reputation as well. So certainly Castleknock have some names out there that can do damage. I see Rory O'Carroll lining out full back here, wearing number 9 on Luke Swan. So the evergreen Rory O'Carroll, it's good to see him back.
Great to see him back. Seamus O'Carroll has been carrying a bit of an injury, which is why maybe he isn't starting, but he's quite the option to come on. Interesting as well that Andy McGowan, who is named at fullback, has gone to midfield for the throw-in. Luke Lacey, by the way, is our referee. We'd love to hear from you if you're watching this game in Still Oregon or Castleknock or anywhere else around the world, whether or not you have a connection to the clubs. You can get us through Twitter at DubGAAOfficial, and don't forget to hashtag GoAheadDSFC1. As I say, there's another game going on in this group at the moment. That's being played at Parnell Park, and we'll keep you in touch with the scoreline of that. We're up, we're away. It's Kilmacud Crokes against Castleknock, and it's Andy McGowan who goes with a long delivery. He's looking inside for Dara Mullen. Good take from Mullen. He's being shadowed here by Tom Quinn, one of those former Dublin underage players we spoke about. That looks good. It's a good start for Kilmacud Crokes.
It's a really good finish from Dara Mullen. He showed a clean pair of hands along the end line there, and Tom Quinn was left flapping a little, so good start for Kilmacud.
Morven Connolly, very steady goalkeeper, very experienced goalkeeper, originally from Mayo, so I suppose the best way to put a disappointment behind is to get on the football pitch and try and put it behind you. Tom Fox gets over the ball there. It looks to me like he spilled it out over the line. He has. It's a line ball. Well, actually it's a Crokes line ball. I thought the last touch came off Fox. Delivered it well to Killian O'Shea. Interesting to see Castleknock dropping back. Paul Mannion, shadowed at the moment by Rob Shaw.
Yeah, it's interesting to see. Rob Shaw has gone on to Paul Mannion, who started out at, they're tussling a bit over there, started out at centre forward. He's just gone man to man. He's not even watching what's going on in the rest of the field, so that's going to be his job for the day, is to tag Paul Mannion.
Ross McGowan, the brother of Andy Crokes, have made a change to their starting team. Anthony Quinn is in. Luke Swan comes forward. He's being chased down here by Dan O'Brien. Kieran Kilkenny went outside. Inside it went from Shea Boland. This is good movement from Castleknock. Can they finish it off with a score? McDaniel, the Westmeath footballer. McDaniel gets the height but not the accuracy. It's a first wide for Castleknock.
It was a nice move from Castleknock though. They play a nice brand of intricate football, very good understanding with each other, and you can see them moving it quickly with the hands there. He made a bit of space for himself, Tommy McDaniel. He's usually a very accurate shooter, but just leaked that one wide a little bit on the right.
McDaniel back from injury. Gavin Sheridan has big boots to fill in the shape of Nestor, who could lump his kick out long. If he was playing a couple of years ago, he might well have been of the breed of keeper that came up to take frees, given the length of his kick out. a long-time servant with Kilmacud Crokes. I think going right back to Leinster and All-Ireland winning teams.
Castleknock have just dropped a sweeper back in front of their full back line there.
Dan O'Brien looking for a way through, played centre forward last year. Another one of those players who was involved with Dublin underage All-Ireland success in the past, trying to squeeze a kick through was Killian O'Shea. It was a good one as well. Dan O'Brien moved it off for the run of Aidan Jones, who lets one go and kicks it over. Really good score from Aidan Jones, normally a cornerback, but you can see why he's been moved into the forwards. Probing ball. McDermott Rowe, another county man. Here's Boland bobbing and weaving. Squeezes a pass for Kilkenny, and Kilkenny gets the score.
A good finish off the left from Kilkenny, linked up well with his teammate Shane Boland there, who has said he's a very good understanding what they played football together for a long number of years.
They were part of a Fela winning team in 07.
And Shane Boland's lining out full forward there. It looks like his leg is heavily strapped, so might be carrying a bit of a knock. Wouldn't generally be his starting position, but he certainly looked dangerous there.
Yeah, I was talking to someone from Castleknock today, and they said that Boland is struggling or has struggled with injury recently, so that probably explains the strapping. Forker. McDermott Rowe. Back to Forker. Won a minor A championship with Castleknock a couple of years ago. Ball to Kilkenny. Kilkenny chased down by O'Shea. Castleknock looking for an equaliser, and they have it. That's a really good score. Yeah, very good finish from Ben Galvin.
Yeah, Ben came in off the wing there, and I said he's very accurate, very slight footballer, but when he gets a bit of space and he gets moving, he can do a lot of damage. Good move again from Castleknock, instigated by the forward run from wing back Senna Forker.
Gavin Sheridan assessing his options. That's 50-50 at best, and it's won back by Castleknock. Here's Ben Galvin. Kilkenny. Just as he does with Dublin, he'll go where he's needed. He'll open up defences. Warnock got forward. Now it's into the hands of McDermott Rowe. Stepping inside Boland. Boland trying to get away from Rory O'Carroll. Castleknock looking to open up Crokes and failing. McGowan intercepts. Gets it to Fox.
Kilmacud have an opportunity to break here quickly after the turnover.
Quinn with the skipping ball. It was well taken out front. Tom Fox into the corner. Was that a foul on the full forward Darren Mullen? Referee says no. Excellent defending. I think Tom Quinn got his hand to him there. It was Tom Quinn.
Tom Quinn's a really tenacious defender back there. And often playing against him, he'll give it his all day.
Tom Shields goes backwards. Well taken by Rob Shaw. Senan Forker carries it out. Himself and Shaw get themselves wrapped up in all sorts of trouble there. Here's Mannion. It looked like he hadn't caught it right, but then it drew back in. That is a perfect kick from Mannion.
Yeah, it's a beautiful finish from Mannion. A little bit of a mistake there in the Castleknock rear guard. They can't afford to give Paul Mannion opportunities like that. You see, he can kick it from anywhere inside that 45. It was a beautiful finish.
It was an outstanding finish. And it looked like it was skewing off wide, but he drew it back in as if he was kind of controlling it by telekinesis or something.
Kilmacud have dropped a man back here as well. Ross McGowan was given Castleknock an opportunity to build with an extra man from deep.
Warnock. He's unlucky. It's across the face of goal and wide. It's a second wide for Castleknock.
Yeah, just leaked it to the left a little bit, but a good move from Castleknock to use the extra man well there.
Kilmacud Crokes in the away jerseys today. Normally it's purple and gold instead of purple and white. Castleknock in the home jerseys. Sheridan. Good kick. Excellently taken by Cunningham. Calls the mark. Cunningham played O'Byrne Cup football for Dublin. Loops it back to Ben Shovlin. Shovlin, who's worked incredibly hard to get to this level. Dan O'Brien.
Yeah, Dan O'Brien had some league time with Dublin this year as well, I think.
That's correct. Here's Tom Fox. Has he drawn that in? If he has, it's a wonderful score. He has. Brilliant stuff from Tom Fox.
It's a good kick, and there's a little breeze just blowing down into the church end here in Parnell Park, and Tom Fox used it well there just to curl that in, but again probably just giving a little bit too much space, and particularly with that breeze anywhere from inside to 45 guys are going to be capable of kicking it over, so Castleknock half back line probably need to get a bit tighter out there.
Tom Quinn getting the ball into his hands, getting it out to Jerry McDermott Rowe. Tom Quinn, whose dad played for Leitrim. Watson bringing it forward. Watson, a very good cricketer, very good rugby player as well. Here's Kilkenny, another man who's good at everything he does. I jinxed him. O'Carroll got his hands on it there. Kilmacud play it out. McGowan. Out it goes to Tom Fox. Dan O'Brien. Back to O'Carroll. Ross McGowan. Dropping deep and calling for his Mannion, but it doesn't go to him. That's an excellent ball. Now surging up the park is Andy McGowan. He's got options inside. Tom Fox. That's another belter if it goes over, but it doesn't. It is a first wide for Kilmacud Crokes. And just one.
Morvan Connolly very solid on the short kickouts. He'll use the short kick out all day if he's allowed by the Kilmacud full forward line.
The mark called by O'Carroll.
Rory O'Carroll, as we're used to for so many years, out in front there. And that can be soul destroying for a midfield.
Could be soul destroying for a defender who's on him as well. Ball into the corner. It was a beautifully delivered kick from Shane Cunningham, and the mark is called. And it will be Dara Mullen. Mullen, who's already scored one from play. Oh, he's unlucky. It bounced in rather than out, but there might still be something there. Hugh Kenny squirts out of his hands. Excellent defending. I think wrapping him up there, or certainly getting enough on him, was Alex Watson.
Yeah, it was a really good tackle. He looked like he was past him as it came off the crossbar there. Just got a hand in, Alex Watson, and was spilled out over the end line. Was an opportunity for Kilmacud. Just looked to be using the ball a little bit better up in the forward line. They're just creating a couple of chances.
Excellent take. Really good take by Warnock. Another fine take. Can they finish it off? It's McDaniel goes inside. Swan. And the keeper just about kept it out. I thought it was going to trickle in. What's the referee going to do here? Has the keeper overcarried? He gets it away by any means necessary. He did really well. Andy McGowan tries to get there for Crokes and does. And as always, when you lean over to get the ball and bend your back and you go to ground and there's contact for an opposition player, then it will be given away as a free. Well, we're having a look here at that goal chance. Really fine work. Swan unlucky. It was actually a really good save by Sheridan.
Yeah, it was a good save. He probably just needed to slip it into the corner. He went for power instead and maybe drilled it straight at the goalkeeper, but a really good save. But a good move from Castleknock. They can.
Hugh Kenny. Lovely delivery. Cunningham measures it, shoots, and puts it over. First score of the game for Shane Cunningham.
It's a good finish and an important score for Kilmacud. There was a bit of a turnaround there. Could have been a goal at the other end instead. Kilmacud go straight up and tag on another score. Lead 5-2 at this stage.
Rob Shaw. Just to clarify, I'm saying Rob Shaw. That's two different names, not Rob Shaw like the rugby player, Chris Rob Shaw. But I guess none of you were confused. Anyway, here's Kieran Kilkenny. While unbalanced, he still kicked it over. Brilliant stuff from Kilkenny. A second of the game.
It's a really good score from Kieran again, and he is getting a bit of joy there. He's got a couple of shots off at this stage. I think they do need to get a little bit tighter on him as well. If they give him opportunities in there, we know what he's capable of. I think both sets of forwards, when they move the ball quickly, have the opposition defence in a bit of trouble. I think we're using that kick pass inside.
O'Brien finds Mullen.
On top.
It's a bit blind, but it is taken by Aidan Jones, who taps it over. Good score from Jones, his second. Again, you saw his speed there, Alan. He kind of burst onto the ball.
Yeah, it was a good move. And again, the sweepers just dropping back is allowing is allowing Kilmacud build from deep.
Tom Fox moved it in to the corner forward, who's Hugh Kenny, and Hugh Kenny strokes it over.
Just a misplaced kick out there from Connolly. Tom Fox snapped it up and moved it on quickly into Hugh Kenny, who kicked a lovely score.
And all of Crokes' starting forwards have now scored a point, at the very least each. In Jones' case, he scored 2. That's a foul. Free in. O'Shea to O'Brien. O'Brien being covered by Luke Swan. Still O'Brien. Now Mannion. Shane Cunningham. Andy McGowan. Collides with Ger McDermott Rowe, but still going forward. Ben Shovlin. Crokes have to track back, but do secure the possession. Killian O'Shea. Beside him on the wing is Tom Fox.
Castleknock with a lot of men back here. Kilmacud just being patient with it, playing it back and forth, looking for that gap to open.
You're not seeing it on camera, but the Kilmacud goalkeeper Gavin Sheridan is just inside his own 45. He's got 2 players from either team behind him, somehow keeping it going there with Shane Cunningham. Crokes looking for a way through.
The goalkeeper's joining into play, has become a trait in the last couple of months. So
McGowan. Mullen will have a go, and Mullen gets an excellent score, his second.
Yeah, it's a good score. As I said, Castleknock had a lot of men back and they worked it back and forth until they just got that open. The Kilmacud forwards just getting on top here.
Ronan Conway played underage with Dublin, like many players out there today. Hugh Kenny falls over, he's back up again, he's okay. It created a bit of space and Castleknock ran it down the park. Getting back to tackle was Aidan Jones. That was really tenacious. I think it is either a free or a line ball, but he certainly slowed up the Castleknock attack. Kilkenny burst out, he wanted it, but he's not going to get it. That's just very aimless. Quinn will get there.
Yeah, Castleknock just need to settle down a little bit now. They have some young guys out there. There's a little bit of a gap opener on the scoreboard, 5 points. He just got a bit panicked there and just kicked it away.
Dan O'Brien. Running onto it there is Ben Shovlin, or I beg your pardon, that's Andy McGowan. Tom Fox. Another fine score. Tom Fox gets his second. Crokes by 6. Are you enjoying the view from this particular part of Parnell Park? It's your first time up here.
It is my first time up there. It certainly is a different view than what I've been used to.
Tom Shields. Kilkenny. He's got all the tricks. He's unlucky there. Good take by Sheridan. Quinn.
Tom Shields, at wing back from Castleknock today. He actually grew up 5 or 6 houses down the road from my mum's in Castleknock. I think he spent a couple of years in Australia there, so he's back now with a really good wing back, and that was his first real influence in the game today. Castleknock probably need to see more from the likes of him.
Ross McGowan, who's the older brother of Andy. Ben Shovlin. As we were saying about Ben Shovlin, was part of the intermediate setup, but just worked incredibly hard and played his way into the senior team. It's so competitive at Kilmacud Crokes. It's a club with massive numbers. Kilkenny calls the mark.
Yeah, Kieran was one-on-one there at Rory O'Carroll just for a second maybe. But a good mark. It's probably off camera, but we see Rory was really tight on him, as you'd expect.
His team needs something, but unfortunately it drops short.
He's missed a couple, Kieran. Missed one off the left a couple of minutes ago. That was a difficult kick into the breeze. We can't see it on the screen, but there is a breeze blown against Castleknock here. But they just need a score just to settle them down.
We'll bring you the latest from the St. Vincent's game when we get to the water break, which is due any second now. Good take by Rory O'Carroll. Looping through the space is Dan O'Brien. Didn't catch that right.
Yeah, with Rob Shaw's tracking Paul Mannion everywhere he goes, and he's at number 11, but he's just drifting out to the wings and it's leaving a big gap there right down the middle of the Castleknock defence. They just need to tighten up and that need to cover in some of the holes there.
Shields
are getting through a little easy.
Kilkenny. Shields continues his run. Kilkenny takes his point. His third of the game. And that's the water break. It's 9 points to 4. Kilmacud Crokes, I think it's fair to say, with the deserved lead. Yeah,
they've been good, Kilmacud. They've been very efficient up front and kicked some lovely scores. And their half back line and full back line have come on a couple of surging runs through, and they're just overrunning Castleknock a little bit around the middle. But I think you can see when the ball gets up to Kieran Kilkenny in the full forward line, he is causing trouble up there. Possibly had a goal opportunity there.
Let's have a look at some of the highlights of the game so far. Some nice scores taken by Kilmacud Crokes. Castleknock with some nice points as well, just not as many as they'd like.
Yeah, Kilmacud working it through the hands well there, and some excellent finishing.
Kieran Kilkenny hooking it over. It looks easy when he does it, but it's anything but. Earlier on, by the way, Ballyboden beating Raheny. Warren Egan was named man of the match by TG Cahir. Also earlier on, St. Jude's and Lucan drawing 1-14 apiece. No goals yet. Castleknock could do it one. They don't really look like they're going to threaten too much though, Alan, except for this one chance.
Yeah, they've had a couple of chances. That was Luke Swan there. It was a good save from the keeper. That last score from Kieran Kilkenny, maybe he could have got through for a goal, but opted to go for the point instead. But yeah, they could do the goal to get back into this, but they've had plenty of the ball, I think, and they will get opportunities.
They're more than capable of getting goals, this Castleknock team. We'll resume with the Kilmacud Crokes kick out, taken by Gavin Sheridan.
Yeah, Castleknock are pressing up in that kick out on the force along.
Well taken by Cunningham. Aidan Jones. That's a little bit wild and wide. A third wide for Crokes. An attempted volley there by Dan O'Brien, stealing away Andy McGowan. Dan O'Brien, Andy McGowan. Didn't catch it right. Straight into the breadbasket of the goalkeeper.
There's a couple of missed opportunities early after the water break for Kilmacud. That's Luke Swan there coming with a big reputation from underage.
Luke Swan steps inside. Was that a little high and a little clumsy from Tom Fox? What will be Luke Lacey's decision here?
Castleknock need a little bit more of that. That was a good run down the wing from Luke Swan. He kind of drove at the heart of the Kilmacud defence, and he forced a foul out of them. He'd be lucky to get away without a yellow card for that, I think. Not a pull down, I don't think, more of a high tackle.
Well, let's have another look at that.
Maybe just stepped inside a little bit and looked a little bit worse than what it actually was, but it's a good opportunity now for Castleknock to get back to 4 points.
Well, as Tomás O'Shea said repeatedly yesterday, the best way to get at any team is to run at them. Anytime Mayo did that against Tyrone, they gave them issues. They just didn't do it enough. That's a good score by Ger McDermott-Rowe. His first.
Yeah, it's an excellent kick into the little breeze as well. Not as easy as it maybe looked on the screen. But they definitely needed that Castleknock, and as I said, that came from Luke Swan driving down the wing here, and they'll want to see more of that from the likes of him.
Fox. That's an excellent pass. And a good finish. Shane Cunningham.
Yeah, Shane Cunningham, he got in there on his own. There was a couple of Castleknock defenders around. He just sneaked in behind them. And
should he have gone for goal?
It was definitely an opportunity. Maybe they've had a couple of missed opportunities there at the start of this quarter, so maybe they just wanted to tag on a score to get the scoreboard moving. But a little bit lax from the Castleknock defence. They need to get tighter back there.
You just know if your podcast buddy Wooly was here, he would say all day long Shane Cunningham has to be taking it on there, has to be going for goal. Watson. Good ball to Shields. Has options in front and behind. Being followed by Hugh Kenny. Taking on all comers here. Goes a little bit loose and is won back by Killian O'Shea.
Yeah, there wasn't much shown from inside there. He needed a little bit of support. You could just see him running out of legs there. Nobody really came to help him out.
Mannion. It's well defended. It's well taken. And a foul committed there on fullback Tom Quinn.
Yeah, it's good sweeper play from Tom Quinn. You could see he was just patrolling in front of the full forward line there. He read it perfectly. He'll be okay. Well used to taking those hits.
Shane Cunningham's name going into the book. A yellow card for Shane Cunningham. Quinn. Represented Dublin underage in both football and hurling.
Just looking down ahead of us, there's a little bit of a lack of movement from the Castleknock forwards at the moment. Ross McGowan is just patrolling in front of them, but it's all very static. Difficult for the Castleknock players out the field to find a pass in there.
Shaw trying to slalom through. At the moment, Killian O'Shea absolutely stuck to Kieran Kilkenny. Crokes win it back. Dara Mullen goes loose, dusted off by Ross McGowan. Michael Mullen. Dara Mullen goes to Tom Fox. Fox will go up and down that wing all day. Outside of Fox is Aidan Jones. Dara Mullen hoisting it back to Andy McGowan. Good run, Paul Mannion. Great score from Paul Mannion.
Yeah, it was excellent from Paul Mannion. I just watched him. He just pulled back out of the centre forward position. He waited until he was ready to make the run. He made the run inside. It was a perfect hand pass from him. And we know when Paul Mannion gets into those positions, he doesn't miss too often.
It's a weird one with the kickouts. Are we saying Kilmacud Crokes are pushing up because they're going to the 45, or are they kind of pushing up but kind of dropping back? I'm not sure how you'd assess it.
Yes, yeah, it's kind of difficult to know. They're allowing Morgan Connolly get the short kick out off occasionally. Maybe they're happy enough to concede the kickouts after a score or a wide from open play, but I wouldn't call it an aggressive push on the kick out by any means.
They're not allowing them to carry it out anyway. Ball won back by Crokes. Dara Mullen. Mullen still going out wide as Hugh Kenny takes it on himself, and why not? Dara Mullen, his third of the game.
Yeah, it's a lovely finish. Tom Quinn does look like he shipped a knock there when he won that free, that ball out in front of the full back line a couple of moments ago. Castleknock are just struggling now to get through the Kilmacud midfield and half back line and get any sort of decent ball into the likes of Kieran Kilkenny inside.
What do you do in that case? Do you drop Kieran Kilkenny deeper and make a few other switches, or how do you handle it?
Yeah, I think he just needs to come out and try get his hands on the ball a little for them. I suppose this Castleknock team will look to him a lot, and he should just try to get his hands on a couple of possessions and try and settle things down.
McDermott Rowe wins the free. Now they try to go quick. Deliver to Boland. Boland bobbing and weaving. Boland took the shot. McDermott Rowe was standing just behind him in acres of space. Shaw. Good pass. Galvin wanted it, didn't get it. It's a free out. Just ran into contact there. It was tough for Luke Swan.
Yeah, just a couple of bad decisions there from the Castleknock forward. Shane Boland took on a shot there, probably wasn't on. I think that was Luke Swan, maybe ran into a bit of a black hole there. He got swallowed up and was forced to overcarry. But I think when Castleknock do inject a little bit of pace into it, and I think they are getting some joy. When it slows down, they seem to struggle to break through the Kilmacud rearguard. So there's Kieran on it now.
Kilkenny with Tommy McDaniel making a break to his right. Kilkenny brings it inside. Got away from Shovlin there. Shaw made a good run in behind. Will he go for goal? He does! Oh, what a goal! Rob Shaw, fantastic.
What a finish from Rob Shaw. He came all the way from the half back line. He's the man picking up Paul Mannion. That's one way to put the squeeze on Paul Mannion, is to get a goal to the other end. He actually just let him go. He had a lot to do from there, and a beautiful finish. It's just what Castleknock needed to bring this game back to life.
Well, I don't think there's any greater authority to talk about scoring goals in this particular venue than you, and you've given him a lot of praise, which says an awful lot. He made the run in behind, he drifted in behind the defenders, but as you say, even from there, it was a tough enough finish, tough enough one to take on. Sheridan kicks it loose. Our Crokes a little bit rattled having conceded that goal. 2 minutes to the break, a good time to get it as well. Is there ever a bad time to get a goal? But I think you follow my logic there.
Yeah, let's just lift Castleknock. They just need to inject a bit of pace into it again.
Kilkenny moving forward at pace. They're unlucky there. The shot just dragged wide by Dara Warnock.
Yeah, he probably got a couple of yards in front of him. He could have taken it on another little bit. And it was a crucial kick at a crucial stage. I think to get back to get the next score after the goal would have been huge in terms of momentum. Let him cut off the hook there, I think. But it's a good couple of minutes for Castleknock.
Sheridan, the last kick out didn't go so well. This one doesn't go much better. Lovely dink into the hands by Boland. Castleknock on top in the last couple of minutes, and now they've won a free. A bit of a clumsy shove by Paul Mannion.
Yeah, wouldn't be the tackle technique we would have been used to from Paul Mannion in the last number of years. He left a hand on the back, and any good coach always preaches use the inside arm. Paul went with the outside arm there, and soft enough free to give away.
McDermott Rowe. That might drop, or does it have the legs? It's an excellent free from Ger McDermott Rowe. It seemed to spend an age in the air, but eventually it made its destination. And it's a 3-point game.
Yeah, it's a beautiful strike right out of top drawer from out the 45-yard line. And we mentioned the breeze already. It was a difficult kick. Castleknock are right back in this now.
3 kickouts in a row have not gone well for Kilmacud Crokes. Great hands from Forker. Castleknock with the momentum. McDermott Rowe. Kilkenny wants it. Clever ball to the wing. McDaniel. I think that's Luke Swan. It's not Swan, it was Galvin. Either way, it's gone out for a 45. Swan and Galvin both with the white boots. I would imagine McDermott Rowe will have a go at this.
Yeah, it's funny how a score can change momentum in a game. All of a sudden, Castleknock are starting to play with a bit more swagger, a bit more confidence around the place. As you say, they've won the last 3 kick-outs in a row and had some opportunities that they hadn't been getting earlier on in the game.
Remember, we'd love to hear from you no matter where you're watching this game on Dubs TV. You can get us via Twitter at DubGAAOfficial, and don't forget to hashtag GoAheadDSFC1. McDermott Rowe, who's knocked over 2 frees. It's just weird not to see a goalkeeper taking these, isn't it? McDermott Rowe gets the lift, but I think it's going to drop to the keeper's right and wide. A 4th wide for Castleknock. And that's half time. Crokes lead by 3, but they'll probably be disappointed considering how comfortably they were in charge of that game, and then Castleknock in the last few minutes blazed their way back into it with some good points and that excellent goal from Rob Shaw.
Yeah, they were 5 or 6 points up there, really looking to be controlling the game at that stage. They were starting to create chances. Maybe missed a couple after the water break there, which let Castleknock off the hook. I think there was one into the keeper's hands, but Castleknock have hung in there, to be fair to them. They've done a lot of huffing and puffing there to stay in this game, and they got their break with the goal. It was a great finish from Rob Shaw. I suppose coming from the half back line, they need to see a little bit more of that. They need to ask some more questions of Kilmacud, and maybe there can be sometimes an over-reliance on Ciarán and Kenny.
Well, before we take a little break, let's have a look at some of the highlights of the first half. Crokes got some beautiful scores.
Yeah, they've looked very comfortable up front when they've got into positions. They've taken their scores very well. And some 12 points on the board at half time.
Yeah,
they'd be disappointed to be only 3 up.
And just before Castleknock went on their run, Shane Cunningham had a goal chance, which no doubt we'll see in a couple of minutes or a couple of seconds. He took his point, to be fair, but a goal at that stage might have really asserted Crokes' authority on the game, but Castleknock came back into it. But Tom Fox has scored some nice points today. He's kicked 2.
Yeah, he does. He's coming in off that wing there. He certainly looks dangerous, and with the Kilmacud half-backs kind of coming forward, creating overlaps, they are creating the opportunities.
McDermott Rowe hooked that one over well.
Yeah, he's kicked a couple of nice frees off his left boot.
And this is Shane Cunningham's potential goal chance. Actually, when you look back, it was well covered. He probably did the right thing by taking his point.
Yeah, I think Castleknock had a couple of men back there covering.
Just keep taking the points. That's the message to Crokes from Robbie Brennan, their manager. That's another good one from Dara Bullen. Kicked 3 overall in that first half. Rob Shaw.
Yeah, here's the goal. He just drifted in behind, and they let him go. Sometimes when a half back comes forward like that, nobody really takes responsibility for him. And if you're smart about it, you can get some space. As we saw Rob Shaw do there, and a great finish.
It wasn't easy as well. He was coming in off the left, but dropped it onto his right, which maybe cut out the keeper. That's another fine score. And that's the best of it from the first half. A half that was very entertaining. And it's very close as we head towards the second half on the opening day in this group of the Dublin Senior Football Championship, the Go-Ahead Dublin Senior Football Championship. There's another game going on in this group at the moment, St Vincent's against Ballantyre. I just can't get a score of that at the moment, which is commentator speak, for the Twitter pages haven't been updated of either club, but we'll bring you that score when we get it. Half time here, Crokes leading by 3. Keep your messages coming in at DubGAAOfficial. We'd love to hear from you, and don't forget to hashtag Go Ahead DSFC1. We'll be back in a few minutes. You'll still see the pictures, but you won't hear any sound. But we will be back well in time for the second half. And just as I speak, I've got the halftime score from the other game in the group. St Vincent's leading by 1-8 to 1-5 against Ballantyre. So St Vincent's 3 points up against Ballantyre. The same margin in both games in the group which are going on at the moment. Half time here, Kilmacud Crokes 12 points, Castleknock 1-6. Stay with us, we'll be back for the second half. Welcome back to Parnell Park. We're about to start the second half of this Dublin Senior Football Championship encounter between Kilmacud Crokes and Castleknock. Crokes leading by 3 going in after half time. It probably, in their view, should have been more, but they conceded a couple of goals, including an excellent Rob Shaw goal just before the break. Alan Brogan with me for this match. Alan, how do you see the second half going?
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see can Castleknock maintain that momentum that swung their way in the last 5 minutes of the first half. I suppose the break probably came at a good time for Kilmacud. Subs are obviously going to have an impact here as the legs start to tire. But let's see, can Castleknock get the first score or two and really put a bit of pressure on Kilmacud.
Luke Lacey, the referee. We're up and going again. Kilmacud Crokes playing into the golf course end. Tom Fox on the ball. He had a good first half. McGowan. Andy. That's Ross. I knew I'd confuse the two of them at some stage or another. Ross McGowan in towards that corner forward position, but coming out to it as full forward. Dara Mullen. Mullen being tackled tenaciously there by Ben Galvin. That's not Ben Galvin. Castleknock appear to have made a change at half time in is Kieran Murphy. Former Dublin minor, played under 20 for Dublin as well. Turning and twisting is Paul Mannion. Dan O'Brien.
Yeah, again, Castleknock with a lot of men back here. Kilmacud being patient. Just working it back and forth, looking for that gap.
Ross McGowan. Quinn. Squirted out behind, and it's Ben Shovlin who collects it.
Yeah, it's good pressure from Kilmacud, and they've turned it over.
Very good work from Castleknock. Warnock. Lost and stolen back by Ross McGowan. Dan O'Brien is making a run ahead. Is he spotted by Shane Cunningham? Cunningham stays going himself. Trying to make his way through there is Dan O'Brien. Back it goes. And that's kicked over beautifully. Great score.
Yeah, it was well retrieved by Kilmacud. There was a break on there for Castleknock, and to be fair to Kilmacud, they showed the desire to get back and force the turnover again and get their own score up the other end. Oh, it's a short kick out, leaked away.
It's a bit of a disaster. Here's Cunningham. Coming onto it now is Hugh Kenny, and that's a good goal. 2 goals against Vincent's in the championship last year. Hugh Kenny, 1 against Castleknock today. Crokes with an excellent start to the second half.
That's a very soft goal for Castleknock to concede.
We'll get another look at that in a few minutes, but it really...
Short kick out for you. Conley tried to just flick it out to the right to Rob Shaw. Just squirted under his hand. Kilmacud finished it very well, to be fair to them, but not the start that Castleknock would have wanted. A goal like that could well suck the energy out of this Castleknock team.
Great catch. Ger McDermott row. Kieran Kilkenny battling first, not getting it though. Not on the first attempt anyway. Free in. Crokes trying to open them up. It's Hugh Kenny. Kenny. Where's that going to go? To the keeper's right, but not wide. Tom Quinn. Forker getting on it there. Castleknock try and play their way out. That's a little bit loose. O'Carroll steaming forward, aiming at Kenny, but finding instead Dara Mullen. Fox is inside, but Mullen keeps going. Mullen's in. Oh no, he's not. He overcarried. He'll be desperately frustrated with that.
Yeah, Kilmacud are playing with a sweeper back there, and that's 2 balls in a row. Castleknock have kicked down the throw to the sweeper. Just need to be a little bit more patient, maybe move it with the hands a little bit further up the field. They have the aid of the little breeze there as well. They probably need to get her up around to the 45-yard line, maybe get some diagonal ball in there rather than kicking it from too deep.
Andy McGowan's point and Hugh Kenny's goal has put Kilmacud Crokes back in charge here. Tom Quinn. Rob Shaw, who got that excellent goal in the first half. Remember, this is a group format. The other two teams in the group, St. Vincent's and Ballantyre. Could be tight. Here's Watson. Was that a foul? Referee says yes, it was. It was brave from Luke Swan to go out to it because he knew exactly what was coming. Free in Castleknock, and they need a score here.
It was good from Alex Watson. He came from deep there just to create a bit of an overlap, and they probably need to do a bit more of that. The Kilmacud backs are very tight on the Castleknock front six.
Well, let's have a look at this Hugh Kenny finish. Kept it low, rolled it past the goalkeeper, and it put Kilmacud Crokes back in charge of this match. It appears that Tom Shields' day might be done. And James Tolan is in for Castleknock. A very good wing back, can also play in the forward line. Like so many of these teams, has played underage for Dublin. Family connections to Mayo as well, so he'll hope to turn the tide of a poor footballing weekend so far.
It's been a good response from Castleknock to the goal. They've got the next score, and they've kept themselves in it. Trying to press up in the kick out here now, try to force it long.
Sheridan. Excellent take, brilliant take from Ben Shovelin. It's a little bit loose, but it is 2-on-2. It just bounces away from Kilmacud Crokes full forward Darren Mullen. McDermott Rowe. Driving on now, Paul Burke. Kieran Kilkenny. Kilkenny wants it back and takes it back. He has Galvin outside, or well, behind him now at this stage. Kilkenny staying really cool under pressure. Only Kieran Kilkenny could do that. And Kieran Kilkenny, what I was about to say, keeps the possession for his team, but he has won the free in because one of the Crokes players, I think it was centre back Killian O'Shea, touched it on the ground.
Yeah, Kieran looked like he was running into a black hole there to use all his strength and all his experience to get out of there. He's won a good free here.
Kieran Kilkenny is one of the few players you'd fancy to actually win that battle, even though he was pressed into the corner by three Crokes players. Tommy McDaniel. That's a great catch. Can they finish it? Sheridan takes it up and kicks it out to Tom Fox.
Yeah, that was Luke Swan there, and he's a good target man. Looked like he had that in his hands. Maybe he was thinking about what he was going to do with it. The Kilmacud defender maybe just got a hand in. It's just slipped out of his grasp.
Into the path of Dan O'Brien from Fox, and then Crokes give it away. They've got a little bit loose in the last couple of minutes. Still a lot of work to do. I know they're 6 points up, but 22 odd minutes left of the half. Vincent's leading by 3 points when last we heard. Left behind by James Tolan. Gets it up again. Tolan, if you're a sub, you want to make an impact, and that's exactly what he has done.
Yeah, it's a good score. He looks to have a bit of pace about him. That's just what they need. Some of those deep runners coming from the half back line, the full back line, just to try and create those overlaps. It was a really good finish.
He's all action, isn't he? They're making another change. Going off is Ben Galvin, which is a surprise because he's a shooter. Now, Seamus O'Carroll has replaced him, and he is also a shooter, so it's kind of like for like in that particular respect. He has had injury issues recently, O'Carroll, which is why maybe he isn't starting, but it's a big boost to be able to bring on a guy of that quality.
Yeah, Ben Galvin kicked a very good score in the first half, maybe been a little bit quiet since, but as you say, Seamus O'Carroll has inter-county experience, so Castleknock will need to get something out of him.
Crokes have also made a change. Shane Cunningham moves it to Tom Fox. Fox squeezes that one over. Great score from him. His first of the second half, his third overall. Shane Horan, who's a dub that plays for Offaly, has come in. He qualifies for Offaly under the parentage rule.
Paul Mannion has moved into the Kilmacud full forward line here. He's played most of the game at centre forward and maybe hasn't gotten on as much ball as he would like. He's been very closely marked by Rob Shaw. Let's just get a little bit more space for himself in the full forward line.
Castleknock had to be very careful with that, and they were. Rob Shaw gets away from Fox. Also steps away from Anthony Quinn. That's really well taken. What a collision that is. Will Castleknock get the free? The referee says no, he does stop play because of a head injury, I think. Kieran Murphy has come in for Castleknock and got right into the thick of it there with the collision.
It's been an even enough second half, just that goal for Kilmacud. It's kind of separated the sides, and that came off a mistake from the Castleknock kick out.
Well, let's take a look at that particular impact. Murphy and O'Connor coming together there. Nothing too vicious or anything like that. It was just one of those things. Who can win the dirty ball? It's Quinn. O'Carroll. Cunningham. Will Cunningham will go outside or inside? He goes outside to Shane Horan. Horan loses it in contact. To be fair, he got it back. O'Carroll. A little bit loose from O'Carroll. Cunningham can't keep it in play. Tolan. Tolan bursting onto it.
James Tolan coming again from deep. He's made a difference since coming into the side.
He's all energy. Kieran Kilkenny. Checking his run and stepping back is Watson. Burke. O'Carroll. O'Carroll, who would find room in a phone box. O'Carroll, excellent score.
Yeah, it's a good finish, showing what he's capable of there. Castleknock need a little bit more of that kick pass into the full forward line is paying dividends when they can get it in there and win it. They have the guys in there to kick scores, just at times their play is a little bit lateral across the field. Maybe just need to inject a little bit more urgency in at this stage.
Change being made for Kilmacud Crokes. Andy McGowan going off, scored a good point at the start of the second half. He has been replaced.
It's Craig Diaz.
Craig Diaz, yeah.
Yeah, ever reliable Craig Diaz. He's knocking around a few years now, but maybe he doesn't have the full 60 left in the legs. He won't thank me for saying that.
He won't. I remember when he burst onto the scene, people were calling him Diaz, and I asked him, look, how do you pronounce it? And he said Diaz, as in Cameron. I've never forgotten it.
He's after winning the first ball there, the first kick out he's got his hands on.
Murphy does really well there. Brilliant work. Dispossessing Dara Mullen. Diaz chasing after it. He's not going to get there. McDermott Rowe. It's a clever ball down the wing. Forker beaten to it. Horan.
Yeah, they're the passes at this stage of the game. Castleknock need to be getting them to a blue shirt. Just inviting Kilmacud on when they turn over ball like that.
Dan O'Brien. Castleknock dropping numbers deep. Dan O'Brien stays going. Tom Fox. Shane Cunningham. Fox. Fox has a go. And Fox has a 4th point to his name.
Yeah, it's another good score for Kilmacud. I think Rob Shaw on Paul Mannion there. He's doing a good job on him, but as I said, it is just leaving that space in the centre back position just in front of the Castleknock goal, and the Kilmacud wing forwards like Tom Fox are exploiting that.
Tom Quinn runs into trouble. Cunningham bends his back, but he doesn't take it. Ger McDermott Rowe moved on to the ever-running Tommy McDaniel. McDaniel has Kilkenny in front of him. Inside is Luke Swan. They need a goal. Can they get one? Excellent tackle there by Ben Shovlin. No, it wasn't. It's a free in. It may not have been an excellent tackle, but it was a clever foul.
Yeah, I think he was thinking goal there. You could see the space open up in front of him. Kieran Kenny had been ahead of him and he just cleared out of his way. He kind of came on the loop. Tommy McDaniels kept going.
Yellow card.
Probably a
for
deserved
Shovlin.
yellow card.
He'll take that all day though, won't he?
Yeah, a little bit cynical.
Or a little bit clever, depending on how you look at it.
I'm a forward, so I look at it as cynical.
Sure, what would Dubs know about cynicism? Nothing. Absolutely nothing. Tommy McDaniel knocks it over.
Castleknock hanging in there here. They just need to get the next couple of scores maybe. Again, try and put that pressure back on Kilmacud.
Sheridan delivers it perfectly. Well taken as well by Shovlin. Here's Mannion. Just seems to glide over the ground. Shaw's trying to stay with him now. It's Tom Quinn. Mannion's still going and gets the free in.
Yeah, he did well. His pace just puts defenders under so much pressure. Now, Rob Shaw's no slouch either, but Paul Mannion just got ahead of him there and just forced the foul.
I imagine the water break will come after the free is taken.
You'd fancy Paul Mannion to stick this over now and put 6 between the sides again. It's in a perfect position for him just to the right of the goals. Going into the Clontarf end. He told me beforehand he's playing a bit of soccer on Monday nights. Himself and Jack McCaffrey in an Astro League. They would have been better off in Croke Park this summer maybe.
Curls it over beautifully. Now, can you imagine the poor person who goes out to play a casual game of soccer on a Monday night and sees Jack McCaffrey and Paul Mannion lining up?
Well, hopefully they might trade the Astro for a few run-outs in Croke Park again come next summer.
I think Desi might have a word. And the break, sometimes guys just need a break and it will have done them good and they might go back.
Yeah, it's been a relentless few years for Dublin, obviously very enjoyable, but there's huge sacrifice and huge challenges are made for it, so maybe Paul just wanted to have a little break, and who knows if we see him or Jack back again. I suppose they owe it nothing at this stage, but from a Dublin perspective, there's a great challenge ahead for Dublin next year to try come back and to win All Ireland back, with obviously Tyrone, Kerry and Mayo will be there again, so it would be nice to see them back, but as I said, they owe it nothing at this stage.
We're at the water break. It's Crokes by 6. Hard to see them losing from this position, but we've seen Castleknock respond to adversity in this game previously, so there's no reason why they can't do it again.
Yeah, well, I recall being 5 up for Plunkett's against Castleknock in the senior championship a number of years ago, and they clawed us back to extra time and beat us in extra time. So it's the one thing about this Castleknock side. They are never beaten. They probably need a goal to get back into it. And Kilmacud have been decent back there in terms of number of goal opportunities that they've leaked, and they've Rory O'Carroll back in there full back. Obviously his experience to be crucial in the last 15 minutes and in not allowing any of those goal opportunities to develop. But we could see there when Tommy McDaniels had a bit of pace through the middle there that there is opportunities there if they can just find some gaps. Which I'd have to fancy Kilmacud to see it out from this stage. And I think Kilmacud have shown an ability to kick the scores up the other end when they get a bit of space. They can't tag on scores, so kind of Castleknock have kind of come back to 4 or 5 points. And
the very experienced Kevin Kinlan has come in for Castleknock.
Yeah, he can kick the score.
Yeah, I'm just trying to work out who came off. We don't have the luxury of a board here in Parnell Park, so unless you actually see them going off, you don't know who's gone off, if that makes sense. Crokes have the possession. Vincent's leading by 3 when last we heard in the other game in this group. Vincent's, Ballantyre, Kilmacud, Crokes and Castleknock all in the group. 2 go through, by the way. Next weekend we're back to the hurling. Tom Fox. Good news for hurling in Dublin during the week. Matty Kenny staying on, guiding Dublin to a Leinster final this year. They were very unlucky to play that game in the circumstances they did. They were hit with COVID. Owen O'Donnell was injured. But progress certainly made. Diaz, excellent pass, good mark called. And Hugh Kenny kicks it wide.
Yeah, there's one that got away there for sure. He would have fancied him to kick that.
Remember, we'd love to hear from you via Twitter @DubGAAOfficial, and you can use the hashtag GoAheadDSFC1. Robbie Maloney says, loving the commentary, lads. 2 experts in different fields, one somewhere in Waterford. Thank you very much, Robbie. Castleknock coming forward, looking for scores. Kieran Kilkenny. Boland. Kilkenny making one of those looping runs that he loves to make. Kilkenny didn't catch it right. Sheridan takes it.
Yeah, he'd be disappointed with that. Kieran off his left.
Shane Horan. Sometimes it can be risky to hit the ball across the face of your own goal. It was okay then. Ross McGowan takes it. Wanders up the park. Cillian O'Shea.
Yeah, Castleknock are gone man on man here. I think they're throwing a little bit of caution to the wind. They know they need to get a couple of scores, so they're going to press up a little.
It can be risky though, because scoring difference could come into play at the end of the group.
Yeah, it is, but at this stage I don't think the players think like that. I think they're just thinking about trying to win the game. And
Dara Mullen. Diaz makes a run, doesn't get it. Mannion beside him. Sprayed across to McGowan.
He's done a good job in Paul Mannion, Rob Shaw has. I think he's only kicked 1 from play. Maybe he's happy enough just to make some opportunities from.
Here's Diaz, touches it into the path of Fox, who finishes it to the net, and surely now it is Crokes' game.
That's a good move from Kilmacud. Their forwards just look to be on top when they up the intensity levels and move the ball quickly. They're just creating opportunities. It's a long way back from Castleknock from here.
It was clever from Diaz. He just touched it into the path of Fox when a lot of players would have tried to grab that. Castleknock will try to respond. O'Carroll looking for his second point. And that will bounce harmlessly wide. Yes, it will.
Yeah, it's probably under a bit too much pressure taking that shot on. Maybe should have looked to recycle it around.
Well, let's have another look at this Kilmacud Crokes goal. Cunningham involved, fisted into the path of Diaz, who pushed it to Tom Fox.
Yeah, nice move from Kilmacud. Quick hands. As you say, the experience there of Craig Diaz. If he knew not to take the ball into his hands, he would have been swallowed up by the defenders.
Senan Forker goes off for Castleknock. Really good take. Shane Cunningham. Diaz. Mannion. Shovlin. Trying to be too clever perhaps there, but Diaz hasn't given up on it. Still fighting for it, and fouls his man, and it's a free out. Graham Hannigan, by the way, has come in for Castleknock. Very experienced, has suffered injury in recent years.
Yeah, Graham had a few run-outs with Dublin as well a couple of years ago. Not sure how much football he's played in the last couple of years, but he's a very quick defender.
Good to see him back out there. An excellent player. Diaz gets a yellow. McDermott Rowe.
That's a good ball.
It's a very good ball.
Oh,
is that maybe a penalty? Did Mullen do enough? Castleknock still fighting for it. McGowan takes it, and O'Carroll calmly slots it away. What do you think?
Possibly looked like there was a little hand on the shoulder. but it was nearly a perfect ball. He got a good hand with just to take it out of Shane Boland's path, otherwise he was in.
He was hit into that corridor of uncertainty that defenders and goalkeepers hate.
Yeah, we saw that yesterday. For Cathal McShane's goal.
Horan. McGowan. Horan ran ahead, gave it to Mannion instead. Mannion trying to turn Shaw around, but Shaw did really well. Mullen. Cian O'Connor, who was in the Dublin squad last year. O'Connor showing some pace, trying to get away from Hannigan. Tom Fox got a goal a couple of minutes ago and has now added on another point. He's on 1-5.
Yeah, it's a good team score. He just worked it around. Cian O'Connor injected a bit of pace in, and instead of taking on the shot himself, just slipped a little hand pass out to Tom Fox, who's in really good form today. As you say, he's got 1-5. He's looked dangerous every time he's got on the ball.
Hugh Kenny has gone off. Scored the goal for Crokes, the first goal that is. He's being replaced by Pádraig Purcell. Castleknock need scores and they need them quickly. They're not going to get them doing that, just giving the ball away. Quinn. He's a lively presence, isn't he, Quinn? Horan.
Looks nippy.
Killian O'Shea. Horan. Horan down the line looking for Pádraig Purcell. He has found him. Purcell, who has played underage hurling and football for Dublin. Horan. Cunningham. Purcell is there as an option, but he goes back towards Tom Fox. Quinn takes it. Now it's Fox. Crokes trying to open up Castleknock. 5 minutes to go. 23 points, plays 13 points when you make the conversion. Cian O'Connor. Still Cian O'Connor. Now Diaz. Kicks it wide. You could actually hear his frustration from here.
Kilmacud are just starting to move Castleknock around the park now. Starting to toy with them a little bit. Castleknock just need to hang in there and maybe inject some pace into themselves, seeking to get a score or two.
Just 2 points between them when they met in the group stages last year. 11 to 12 points. That gap looks like being wider now. Here's Tommy McDaniel. Sails it over. Good score.
Good score.
As we say, scoring difference could be important at the end of the group, so it is important that Castleknock keep going. Crokes making another change. Shane Cunningham going off. He's left it all out there today.
Yeah, he can be happy with his day's work. He's played well. That whole forward line of Kilmacud is actually, look, they've linked up very well. A good spread of scores around the forward line.
Callum Pearson is in for Kilmacud Crokes. That's a really good take by Purcell. Pearson is standing free if he wants to go to him. Diaz. Pearson. Pearson turns on the afterburners. The referee judged that to be a kind of a shoulder to the chest rather than a shoulder to shoulder. It's free out for Castleknock.
Yeah, it was a bit of a handoff. Sometimes you get away with them, sometimes you don't. I think the fact Tom Quinn probably fell over from it made up the referee's mind, but probably the right decision.
McDaniel out to O'Carroll. That's a clever attempt, but intercepted by a Crokes defender. Michael Mullen there again. Shane Horan. Darren Mullen got it under his spell, had to jump fairly high to get it. Cian O'Connor.
And the pace of the game is just slowing down here a little bit. Both sets of players probably starting to feel it a little bit.
Forward it goes from O'Shea, Mannion. Horan is outside, doesn't go to him, goes backwards instead. Crokes happy enough to play keep ball now. Cian O'Connor, he's so fast. Horan. Good score, well worked.
Yeah, Cian O'Connor just waited for the defender to come and then he just turned on the jets. And again, it's not the first time he's done it. He just went straight at the heart of the Castleknock defence and then just slips the little hand pass for Shane Horan to come on the loop, swing over the left foot. Another good score from Kilmacud. Real team score.
Shane Horan, who'll be working under Tomás O'Shea next year in Offaly.
Yeah,
O'Shea no longer on the Sunday game. Your audition is going well here, Alan. Purcell gets it outside. He's back inside, but he'll take it on himself. Oh, comes off the woodwork. Crokes frustrated not to get that score, even though they have the game won. O'Carroll. Kilkenny. Kilkenny shadowed by O'Carroll. Two absolute powerhouses. Shaw. Got a good goal in the first half, adds a wide in the second. He really should have put that over, he knows that himself.
Yeah, he's disappointed with himself.
Jokes aside, Tomás O'Shea will be a huge loss to analysis in general. I think he's brilliant.
Yeah, he will. I really enjoy him too. It'll be interesting to see him go into management, to coaching though. Obviously Offaly on a bit of a crestful wave at the moment, so himself and John Maughan isn't a match I wouldn't necessarily put together, but it'll be interesting.
Kilkenny has options. Attempting to score is Boland, and that is a good score.
Yeah, it is a good score, and Castleknock have had opportunities, even though they're going to be beaten here. I don't think there's any need for them to be too disheartened. They'll need to regroup and come back again in 2 weeks. I suppose that's the beauty of the group stages. They're still in there with a shout. Kilmacud will be happy with the performance. I think obviously happy with the couple of points. And their forward unit has functioned very well, particularly Tom Fox. I think he's kicked 1-5. Shane Horan has been dangerous since he came on. And Paul Mannion, probably one of the quieter days, but we all know on a big day he will deliver.
That was a miscue from Diaz towards Pearson. Castleknock play it on. Dying moments of the game. Horan spills it to Fox. Purcell didn't catch it right. Those are the kind of things that will drive Robbie Brennan mad. Even though they have the game won, that was just a little bit too casual. Purcell is young, granted, but still a disappointing miss. Diaz wins it, but Shaw collects it. He's played well today, Rob Shaw.
Yeah, he's done a good job. And Paul Mannion, I think he's kept him to a point. I think any day you do that, you can be happy with your day's work. Maybe him tracking Paul Mannion in that centre half forward position, he's went everywhere with him. It's maybe left a little bit of a hole in front of the Castleknock defence, which Kilmacud have exploited, but he's done the job he was asked to do pretty well, I think.
Remember, we'd love to hear from you via Twitter @WGAOfficial, #GoAheadDSF1. Sheridan, who couldn't do much about the only goal he conceded today. That's it. Crokes open up the group with the win, 218 to 112, the final score. And Alan, you'd have to say they very much deserved it.
Yeah, deserved winners. I think probably on the form guide coming in, they were probably favourites, and look, they put in a very good workmanlike performance. Castleknock can be happy enough, I think, as well. Lots to improve on ahead of 2 weeks' time, but as you say, Kilmacud, who will most certainly be in the shake-up when it comes to winning a Dublin championship. I think Robbie Brennan will be happy with their first day out, and as I said, a couple of very good performances from their forward line. See Rory O'Carroll back there, full back. Haven't seen him play in a while. It's great to see him out there. Keane O'Connor coming from centre half back played very well as well, created some great overlaps. So I think they can be happy with the performance and well deserved winners.
Remember, you can watch this game back here anytime on Dubs TV. Other games from the weekend also available. Let's have a look at some of the highlights. Great goal from Hugh Kenny.
This was the goal that probably finished off the game as a contest. It's a mistake from a Castleknock kick out, and they'd be disappointed with that one.
Crokes just showed a good range of scores. Castleknock, to be fair to them, never gave up.
Yeah, James Tolan came in and kicked a lovely score there with his left foot. Real inspirational score. Fortunately, it wasn't enough for Castleknock to get back into the game. It was just a long way back after conceding that goal to Hugh Kenny.
Tom Fox with a great strike. Would add a goal a little bit later on, but got some nice points as well.
Yeah, he's probably the most impressive forward on view today. Took his scores really, really well.
Seamus O'Carroll came off the bench, the Limerick footballer, and nailed that score. Fox again. Well, there's no reason why Castleknock can't have confidence going into the next game. McDaniel, fast running, was bearing in goal, and Shovlin had to take the yellow card for that one. At a time when they really needed a goal as well. At least they took a point out of that attack. Mannion, how do you think he played today?
Yeah, I think he was happy enough to let the other guys do the damage. He knew he was being shackled very tightly by Rob Shaw. I was surprised he didn't spend a bit more time inside in the full forward line where he might have found a bit more space. Sometimes when you're marked really tightly out the field, lads don't want to give you the ball because it looks like somebody's very tight on you. So I was surprised he didn't go in, but he created a lot of space for other guys, and he seemed happy to do that.
Diaz to Fox, and Fox slalom past the goalkeeper and slotted it home. That was a very well worked goal, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was a beautiful goal. Just where maybe we thought it was a penalty. Yeah, maybe his arm over the shoulder might have been a little bit harsh, but not sure it would have made any difference to the score at the end of the day.
They always say watch out for the players, and if they don't protest, it wasn't a penalty. I'm not sure it's the most solid of logic, but no one from Castleknock was jumping up and down after that.
Yeah, well, known Shane Boland too. He's a fella that just gets on with as well. Yeah. Wouldn't be one to be complaining. That could be part of it too, but like I said, I don't think it would have made much difference to the final score at the end of the day.
McDaniel played well for Castleknock today. Keane O'Connor injected pace when he came in, and that was a really good score from Offaly footballer Shane Horan. Crokes weren't done yet. Pearson coming off the bench, and they were unlucky to hit that shot off the woodwork. Also Purcell came off the bench. You saw him there wearing number 19. Boland.
Yeah, good score.
The final score of the game, not enough for Castleknock to take anything out of it points wise, but certainly they can take some positives.
Yeah, I think they can. I thought they competed very well. It was a great goal from Rob Shaw in the first half to get them back into the game, and maybe just a couple of mistakes just allowed Kilmacud to pull away again. But I think all in all they can be happy. And as I said, the great thing about the group stage is you get the chance to come back out and rectify it in 2 weeks' time. And Castleknock obviously have youth on their side. They have a lot of underage teams coming through, so they just need to get some of those guys through. And the likes of Senna Falker, Luke Swan, they'll learn a lot from today, and they'll be the better for it in 2 weeks' time.
Rosemary Hughes got in contact with us on Twitter using @DubGAOfficial and the hashtag GoAheadDSF1. Enjoying the game from Parnell Park. Rosemary, thanks for your company today. Stephen McEntee says Tom Fox, man of the match. We don't necessarily do a man of the match here, but if we were doing one, I can't imagine he would have been far off it.
Yeah, he probably was. Probably on the Castleknock side, maybe Rob Shaw did a very good job on Paul Mannion and kicked the goal of his own. But I think for his finishing ability, I think he finished up with 1-5 or 1-6. If we were handing out a man on a match award, he'd certainly be a front runner for it.
He would indeed. St Vincent's have got the win against Ballantyre, by the way, 117 to 210, the final score in O'Toole Park. So that's a 4-point win. It means Kilmacud Crokes, for what it's worth, after one game, are top of the group on scoring difference. But of course, Crokes yet to play Vincent's and Ballantyre. Castleknock also with 2 games left. Your final thoughts on the game? Is there anything that you've seen today that changes your mind about how you feel about the Dublin Championship and the destination of the trophy this year?
Yeah, and I suppose looking at this group in particular, if you looked at it from the outset, I'd say Kilmacud were probably the favourites. Castleknock obviously known they were playing Kilmacud in their first game. Maybe if they had got something out today, it would have been a bonus, but I think Castleknock in particular would have been looking to the Vincent's game and the Ballantyre game. So they've no margin for error now. They need to get out and they need to win the next day, but look, it's all still to play for. Obviously Vincent's plenty of experience in that team. They've won plenty of championships over the last number of years, so it's a good start for them as well. And look, it's still all to play for, I suppose, and that's the beauty of the group stages.
And we're judging purely on the scoreline, because obviously we were watching this and that game was going on at the same time. But just a 4-point gap between Vincent's and Ballantyre suggests that it's going to be quite a tight group. The Dublin Senior Football Championship, the go-ahead Dublin Senior Football Championship, is up and running. You can follow it all the way here on Dubs TV. Keep an eye out on the Dublin GA social media channels over the next couple of hours and next couple of days for more reaction to the weekend's football. And obviously we'll be back next weekend with hurling, and then the weekend after that with football, and then the weekend after that with hurling. And well, you know how it works every second weekend. Kilmacud Crokes have got the win here against Castleknock earlier today in a game that was on TG Cahir, which you can watch back on their player Raheny, beaten well by Ballyboden St Enda's, and all the other results and everything else you needed to know and might be curious about, you can find out on the Dublin GAA website. Alan Brogan, thanks very much for your company. Kilmacud Crokes open up with the win, 218 to 112, the final score. Thank you for watching, and remember you can watch all the games back, both this one and the ones that were on over the weekend, and of course the hurling last weekend. You can watch them all back on the YouTube channel. From Parnell Park, it is goodbye.